Welcome to all of you joining me today for Fireside Chat. For those of you who are newly discovering this online resource, it's good to be with you for the first time. For those of you who have been with me before, welcome back. For the cheerful and skilled technological talents of Mary and John Phillips, who record these Fireside Chats, thank you so much. For David Skinner and Terry Boyd, who upload these recordings every week to our YouTube channel, thank you once again. To all four of you wonderful people, along with Judy Zarubik, who leads the tech crew, I hope you enjoy the 4-month break from this commitment while I'm away on sabbatical leave. I will miss you all until I return. Now, before I get to maudlin, let's share a few laughs, or in the case of my puns, a groan. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and asked for plain rice? Puns can be inspired on the farm as well. Women among us, however, would nod their heads from long-suffering experience at the weird whimsy that sometimes consumes men when they get creative with their power tools. Then there are still other odd folks who, among us, require the pointed reminder of signs like this one. As someone who is a terrible speller, signs like this one in the grocery store remind me how important correct spelling can be. For families preparing for one last summer road trip, here is a familiar refrain from an elevated perspective. As a golfer who has a wicked slice, this sums up my game. After 2.5 years of pandemic, how many couples have found their relationship had been tested like this? As I mentioned in my welcome, this is the last Fireside Chat I will be recording for 4 months. If you have wondered where my elite studio is, well, right now, my elite studio is in the dining room of Mary and John Phillips because my computer won't turn on. So we cobbled together a couple of iPads on which this has been recording. So now you see the bottom of my chin. However, my usual setup is in my kitchen and humbly looks like this. Some of you may wonder if a sabbatical is just another word for doing nothing. Indeed, I've added 4 weeks of holiday to my sabbatical. Here's why. In September, I begin by traveling to Scotland. Once there, I will be traveling to the island of Iona, leaving Glasgow by train, then taking a ferry to the Isle of Mull, where I will land in Tobermory. Once off the ferry, I will travel by bus following this route. Upon arrival in Finefort, I will board a small ferry for the 10-minute passage to the island of Iona, arriving at the dock on Iona. Why Iona? Because I will be living at the Iona Abbey for a week. The Iona Abbey is the center of Celtic spirituality in Scotland and a pilgrimage destination. I will be immersed in and an active part of that spiritual community, including cooking, setting tables, clearing tables, washing dishes, and cleaning up the common living spaces we share. In the Abbey Chapel, worship is held 3 times each day. I'm looking forward to being deeply immersed in this intentional community of faith while nourishing my spiritual relationship with God, which is an integral part of any minister's sabbatical time. This is the worship space where every Tuesday evening, pilgrims from all over the world and people like me living in community there assemble together for a service of prayers for healing. This is a picture I took 8 years ago, the last time I was privileged to participate in such a powerful worship experience. I decided that because I was in Scotland at Iona for my sabbatical, and because my Dunbar family roots can be traced back to the wee village of Dunbar in 1050, I wanted to tour Scotland. That's when I will take 3 weeks of my holiday to make that dream come true, getting to know a little bit about the country of my ancestors. Once I return to Canada, I will dive back into my sabbatical studies. After all, another purpose of sabbaticals for ministers is to study topics that can enrich the church when I return as part of our shared ministry. On my first Wednesday back, I will be taking a 7-week course from the Center for Action and Contemplation based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My hope is that taking that course is how I can put faith into action, like Jesus did and like Jimmy Carter does. After all, Jimmy Carter is an elegant reminder that Christianity is a practice, not a declaration. The course is titled The Franciscan Way and teaches the Franciscan approach to faith and spirituality. In fact, the Franciscans are perceived in the Roman Catholic Church, both theologically and practically, as the progressive wing. The course is led by writer and executive director Richard Rohr, who's also an eminent theologian. I anticipate that this deep dive into this different approach to living my faith will enrich my ministry when I return. Learning a new perspective widens my own horizon. The 3 hardest tasks in the world are neither physical feats or intellectual achievements, but moral acts. To return love for hate, to include the excluded, and to say, I was wrong. I hope to learn all of that through the 7-week course because I believe learning where I may have been wrong is the difficult but rewarding path. Jesus followed and modeled that very path. I do well in this fashion to keep working at my own practice of faith. That, however, isn't the only area of study I will pursue during my sabbatical. I want to study how to continue to grow as a hybrid church. In other words, a church whose front door is digital as well as in person. A church that captures the interest in the hearts of those who inhabit the virtual world, as well as the interest of those who thrive face-to-face without a screen. Indeed, I know how few Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z people find that Kincardine United Church is either attractive or interesting. Of course, finding meaning in life is more than just adding the digital world to our ministry to attract more eyeballs. Hybrid church needs to become our intentional practice. That way we can spread good news while seeking the purpose of the universe. Notice in the cartoon that the solution is 0. You can think that there is no purpose, or you can perceive the 0 as a circle which never ends, an emblem of the continuous gift of love received and given. It all depends on the filters you use for understanding and for belief. While I am on sabbatical, I will need to use deliberate filters. After all, the third purpose of a sabbatical is to separate myself from the regular rhythms of the church life and of the daily demands on my time. a timeout, if you will. To accomplish that goal, any emails that I receive will be automatically responded to by indicating that I will return from sabbatical on Tuesday, January 10th, but that the email will be deleted immediately. After all, I don't want to plow through thousands of emails when I return. As well, I will be not answering any Facebook posts, Facebook Messenger messages, text messages, or phone calls. Imagine what it will be like when I don't have to hear any of these.
Text tones as dance moves. The complete saga.
Without such electronic distractions, in the peaceful and uninterrupted tranquility thus created, I can focus on what I study and experience to strengthen my ministry among you and with you all. Some of you might wonder what happens while I'm away. Who is going to provide pastoral care? Who will attend council meetings and trustee meetings and the meetings of the standing committees of the church? Who's going to preach? Are things going to get messed up? Like when the kids take over the living room just before company arrives? Will things at Kincardine United Church be like this sign? Will everything crumble no matter how grand our past achievements? To calm your fears, while I'm gone, Judy Zarubik will be providing pastoral care, leadership for the council, committees, and trustees, leadership for the staff, and will preside for weddings, funerals, and sacraments. As for worship leadership, we have wonderful licensed lay worship leaders, lay members willing to lead, and retired ministers available. The diversity of voices and of perspectives will be, I expect, stimulating. In fact, I hope that people will let me know what stuff these various worship leaders did that you would like me to try. After all, different perspectives enrich our faith and help us to widen our own perspectives, often surprising us along the way with delight. Yes, Jesus certainly loves me so. Throughout my sabbatical, I hope to be challenged by that divine love, regularly discovering God's grace through the challenges of my sabbatical studies and my deepening spiritual experiences. As Frederick Buechner wrote, the grace of God means something like, here is your life. You might never have been, but you are, because the party wouldn't have been complete without you. Here's the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid. I am with you. Nothing can ever separate us. It's for you I created the universe. I love you. There's only one catch. Like any other gift, the gift of grace can be yours only if you reach out and take it. Maybe being able to reach out and take it is a gift too. However, that gift of grace and the reaching out for grace is not a solitary action. While I'm on sabbatical, you will all be carried with me in my heart. You are the reason for my further pursuit of understanding and of becoming. You are flying high with me throughout.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
So darling, darling, stand by me. Stand by me. Ooh, stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me, stand by me. Stand by me whenever you're in trouble. Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Ooh, stand by me.
You, the faith community we call Kincardine United Church, have given me the gift of grace to learn and to enjoy my sabbatical. Thank you for standing by me and supporting me. Hopefully, I will discover how to weave digital church and in-person church as one to create the water of life. Okay, that was a long way to go for a terrible pun. However, during my sabbatical, I hope to give myself space to achieve this. That before I judge someone, I ask myself, what could they be going through? What's their story? What's happening in their life to make them respond this way? I hope to take a minute, or in this case, 4 months, to think of all I've been through and all I've been forgiven for, knowing there is a good chance my judgment will be replaced with compassion and understanding. I pray that in my sabbatical journeying, I will learn an even better balance in life and in ministry. Then, when I return, I will feel like this when Rabbit said, "Are we home yet?" Home isn't necessarily a place, said Bear. It's wherever you feel understood and accepted. That's with myself and with you, said Rabbit. Then you're home, said Bear, and so am I. May the sabbatical gift you have given me lead me back home to be with all of you in 4 months. As I bid you farewell until my next Fireside Chat on January 17th next year, my personal prayer for everyone under Judy's capable, experienced, and faithful leadership is relatively simple. In our world these days, too many people seem to perceive life through a lens of fear. Using such a lens results in hostility, in aggression, and in coercion toward others. However, as followers of the way of Jesus, we are called to perceive the world through the lens of love. When we act upon our loving perception, we share kindness, humility, and compassion towards others. I pray that each of us continues to live our love so we can change the world one relationship, one encounter, one person at a time. Go then from this digital space to embrace those who disagree with you, to heal those who you encounter are wounded, to cherish those who teach and nurture you, and to meet the risen Christ in each person as they meet the risen Christ in you. See you in 4 months. Goodbye.